Hey guys, it's Brian here again. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you really enjoy this video. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for watching another video. Today we're going to be talking about a popular vehicle, and we're going a little bit more base model on this one. Today we're talking about the 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander LE all-wheel drive. Let's begin. Let's get a quick peek at the window sticker. This one's made in Indiana. It's the Ruby Flare Pearl paint. Here's our estimated fuel economy for Highway 27, City 21 with a blend of 23. This is the gas model, simple car. Here's our standard stuff here on the left. And we're going to dive more into this stuff as the video goes on. And here's some of the extras. Yes, they do charge a little bit more for that premium paint. Nothing crazy. And here's our MSRP. So yes, you can be in Highlander territory if you're okay with a little bit more of a base model car and you get a lot more space. All right, let's talk about it, starting with the exterior. So the Grand Highlander came out last year as an option for people who wanted a little bit more space than the Highlander had to offer. And now from my point of view, I see Toyota actually making more Grand Highlanders than Highlanders. So let me know if that's what you guys are seeing. But starting with the exterior, here's what it looks like. I've nicknamed this car the Mega RAV4 because it has a lot of RAV4 cues in the front over here. Definitely a big grille, lots of airflow, which we're going to be talking about why after we get the hood popped open, because it has the same powertrain as the Highlander now has, and actually some of the trucks. Standard on every Highlander are LED lights. We're seeing LED lights on every Toyota now. So those are running through a projector. Let me turn these on so you can see what that looks like. So through that projector beam, we have a super bright white light. That's going to shoot the light really far down the road. Really help with visibility without blinding people. And a simple incandescent turn signal. Nice and cost effective to replace. All the Grand Highlanders also have this chrome milk mustache kind of thing going on here. It's kind of like a big brow in the front. Let me know what you think about that down below. I think it's not too bad. I feel like it adds a little bit of dimension to the car. And of course, since it has Toyota Safety Sense, the radar device on this car is behind the big front emblem. And it has a camera in the windshield right on the top. This one has Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which is our most up-to-date safety sense. And something interesting about Toyota Safety Sense, of course, it comes with all the automated features like automatic high beams and everything like that, which we'll talk about in a minute. It has defrosting wires for the camera. Really cool to see. So that's the first for Toyota, the defrosting wires for the camera. But yeah, Safety Sense gives you the automatic high beams, lane departure alert, lane trace assist, a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to dive into later. And be sure to check out the tutorial on the car where we dive into the technology very deep, because this is just a review. Now, traditional to a lot of Toyota SUVs, the non-painted black on the bottom, all the way around, even on the bottom over here. We're seeing that on the RAV, Highlander, Grand Highlander. Most SUVs are going to have that non-painted black. Kind of takes the beating for the daily driving really well if you're kicking up rocks and stuff. Simple 5-spoke wheels. These look to be the exact style as the RAV4 XLE or the LE Hybrid. And on this car, like I said, we're keeping things simple here, so it's going to come from the factory with more of like just a regular road tire, all-season tire. This is an 18-inch wheel, so these tires are 255, 65 are 18s. This is not the smoked alloy that you get with the RAV now. This is the original iteration, which is the light. It's a much brighter alloy. So let me get out of the sunlight here. It's going to be a very lightly glossed silver with a simple classic Toyota center cap right there. Now the mirrors on the Grand Highlander are going to be color matching at all levels, which is nice. So we're not doing any of the non-painted black on the mirrors with an integrated turn signal. And this is really nice for the highway because it really helps visibility, especially from a side. And what Toyota's also doing in all their cars is they're putting the mirror on the door so you have a nice view over here. Not a separate glass like you have on the RAV and some of the smaller SUVs, but you can still see really nice through here. So when you're looking around, which you're going to see on the test drive, the visibility is really good in this car. The sun's really coming out, so let's take a moment to see that Ruby Flare Pearl. Very nice color, especially if you like red. Let me know what you guys think about the Ruby Flare Pearl. I'm going to get close real quick just so you can see it. Take advantage of the sunlight. Yeah, the camera's not even capturing that, but it's a very deep, sparkly color. Now I want to hop underneath the car real quick just to show you what it looks like underneath. Got a lot of felt, which I feel like is intentional for the road noise. So a lot of panels, a lot of soft stuff over here. This is really gonna help absorb those sounds, and it's gonna keep a lot of the dirt off. It's probably just a few bolts to remove it. And here's what that red looks like with the clouds around, blocking the sunlight. So the Grand Highlander is Toyota's largest unibody SUV. You know, without counting the Sienna's size. As far as SUVs go, this is the largest unibody. The largest body on frame would be the Sequoia. So if you're looking for space and you want to keep it unibody SUV without going van, this is the way to go. And we're all color matching. There's no black roof, no black wing. Everything is very uniform besides the black on the sides. We have a nice deep cut over here that, as you can see, really catches the light. And the belt line right over here on the top, it's just at that right angle where, depending on the color you get, it adds a lot of dimension. I think they did really nicely with this car. See, it's not over exaggerated, it's not extreme like you're seeing on the Tacoma, it's just enough to add a little bit of visual presence here and make it nice to look at. And the back of the car, one thing I like that Toyota did was the taillights are big. So let's go over here and check it out in the shade. We have a big swish of LED red. And one of the reasons that you might have heard me talk about this in other videos is if part of the taillight is blocked during certain traffic dynamics, there's still a lot of red going around for you to see. So I don't really like the tiny taillights that you see on some modern SUVs. I like them taking up as much real estate as they can to get light. And shout out to Volvo, they do this big light like this. So we're doing it more horizontal, which is nice. Kind of makes a little more sense to go horizontal because there's more stuff blocking you this way instead of this way. But I'm getting too technical. A red turn signal, very US market. I like the amber turn signals, but they went with red. And of course, a lot of non-painted black down below with some reflectors. Let's get a peek under here. Big old muffler. And the back wiper is not integrated like you see on the 4Runner and the Sienna. It's just kind of hanging out. Some people think it's not as stylish. A lot of people probably don't care. But what's nice about it being exposed is it's very easy to get to, replace, done. You don't have to think about it or go into service mode, which is nice. Big LED third brake light over here with some black. Let's take a look at the red and indirect light. So yeah, simple. We're not doing an extreme styling here. We're not going crazy. We're not trying hard. We're not trying to be something we're not. The Grand Highlander is just giving you a tasteful, simple, and remember, we're talking about the LE, a tasteful, simple tool that's giving you a lot of space. But before we talk about the space, let's pop the hood and talk about the powertrain. Look how big this hood is. Under the hood is Toyota's T24 FTS. It's a 2.4 liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It has 265 horsepower, 310 torque. So it's giving you just enough to get the job done. This engine is going to be a staple with Toyota, and it's going to pretty much be the power plant that powers many of our vehicles. It's now in the Highlander. It's been for a couple years. Tacoma. It's taking over. So let me know what you think about that down below. Some people might have been expecting the V6. There are multiple models that it's in, and Lexus has been using this powertrain for a couple years. I think it's going to prove to be tried and true, and it's made it to an 8-speed automatic real geared transmission, which I know some people will be happy with. Battery is easy to get to, in case you need to take that out after 5 to 8 years. Super easy to check my brake fluid right there in my face. Master cylinder is tucked away a little bit. Bulbs are easy to get to, so that's nice. To access my cooling system, I got a lot of plastic. I just got to pull this off, and then you have access to your radiator and your intercooler. But generally, things are pretty easy to get to. I don't suspect most people buying this car are going to be servicing it at home, but just to show you the design. And it's a small twin-scroll turbo on the passenger side that spools up very quickly, so you're going to get power very fast at the lower range instead of having to really rev it out like you did on a V6. Of course, you're not going to have that early morning roar when you start it up, but the vehicle produces less emissions, you have less oil, less spark plugs, and that's just the way Toyota's going. And if you change your oil on time and you take care of it, because I know turbo can be a little controversial, I think the vehicle will last. You just got to get that oil changed on time. I wouldn't personally recommend 10,000 mile oil changes, but that's a personal recommendation. And just another thing about turbo, if you're really going on it or you're speeding on the highway, when you get to your destination, just go ahead and let it idle for about a minute, and then you're good to turn it off. And just like any car, you want to go easy on it when you first start it, and that's what kind of helps a turbocharger last a very long time. If you choose to do towing with the Grand Highlander, it can tow up to 5,000 pounds. And remember, this is the all-wheel drive model, so it's very capable, especially if you're driving in bad weather or you have a lot of hobbies where you like to get out there and go into the gravel and the mud and the dirt and stuff like that. But let's close up the hood, open up the hatchback, and talk about the cargo space in the Grand Highlander. And with the simple push of a button right under the emblem, the hatchback comes up pretty quick. And we're greeted with 20.6 cubic feet with the third row up. So here's what it looks like. Now, if you're a Highlander person that's had a Highlander, you notice right away this is a lot more space, because on the Highlander you got to about here. So now we have about double. So it's decent, and if you really wanted to maximize, you could put this third row upright a little bit more and really open up more space. I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like when one of the rows is upright and the other one is reclined. So this is how far back we can recline, especially for taller people. Let me show you what it looks like with both. With the third row folded down, it's a little stiff from the factory. We have just about 58 cubic feet of space. And to be expected, we have Toyota's seatbelt clips. So that keeps them from making a lot of noise. You can see the cup holders in the back, but before I get carried away, let me put this third row up, jump in the back row, and talk about what it's like back there. Oh, sorry, quick, before we do that, I want to get the middle row folded down so you can see how much space we have. So on the Grand Highlander, there's little numbers engraved in the switches and levers here, so it's very easy. All we have to do is pull up number 1 and then number 2. You can do it all with one hand and it goes down flat. And now we have 97.5 cubic feet of space with these back 2 rows folded. Check this out. Tons of space. So I was getting a little ahead of myself, sorry guys. Now I'll get the seats folded up. We'll hop in the third row, we'll go in the middle row, and then we'll work our way up. All right, so this is what it looks like getting into the third row. Now remember, the Ellie is always gonna have a bench. We just pull up number 1, and then it naturally will slide for you. Here's the space we have. This is definitely better than the Highlander. And there's tons of plastic. We have this huge step over here where we can get up in there. Now for grab handles, there's not a whole lot going on except for this guy. So they give you something, and this is the word I want to use for the Grand Highlander, thoughtful. So we have a handle over here with a little bit of a grip design. And interesting, there's a charger for the third row. So I can grab this like this, get my right foot up, and just kind of pull myself in. So I'm crouched down right now, right? And then I'm good. Now, it was very hard for me to do my foot tap getting in there, but that's just kind of how it's going to have to be. And then I can slide this back. There we go. Let's see how much room they have. They're good. I'm going to get my vent on me because it's pretty warm today. And here I am. So I'm doing good. Now, a person here my size and another person here my size, we'd have to sit kind of like this, and that wouldn't be too cool after about a half an hour. But if you have to do it, it can be done. And the seat is slightly reclined. If I recline it all the way, I'm definitely more comfortable, but I feel like my head is sitting way far back. So there's options. As far as car seats back here, it would be tough. I'd probably want to put the car seats in the middle, but nice to have a charger right here ready to roll so I can distract myself with how cramped I am back here if I'm a taller person. Big old cup holders with a slot for the smartphone or the iPad if I'm resting. Now here's the insert for the privacy cover when the third row is folded down. in case you're hauling a bunch of stuff. But what I really appreciate is this back window here is huge, especially considering it's an SUV. A lot of SUVs, they don't think about the people in the back when they're designing it as much, so they give you this tiny little candy corn. But we have a really big window. It's nice, and this really helps reduce the claustrophobia that you can often get when you're in the third row, especially when you have this big bench blocking you. Here's what the material looks like. It's slightly scratchy. I wouldn't say bothersome, but the reason why it's like that is because I can tell it's very durable, and that's what this is for. It's to be a durable family hauler. All 3 rows, we got the AC. We can do our own temperatures and lights in case you need to see stuff. All LED white. Now to get out, I have a lever here or here. It's going to be a little less comfortable to do this. So if I grab this, it just slides instantly. A lot of people are probably just going to kick it like that, and that's fine. That's what it's built for. It's a very durable vehicle. Here's the track system. Here's the floor mats. No cells, just channels. Toyota does cells that trap fluids. I think Toyota, you should have put the cells here in case people spill stuff, then it's going to get trapped. But let's hop into this middle row. And I'm going to stay on the camera the whole time so you can see what the experience is like. Now getting out, this isn't really what I'm probably going to do. I'm probably just going to like reach out here, embrace with my elbow. And it's not bad. And to put this back, let's see how much room they have. They still have the room that they need. So here's the average position you'd be in. And here's what it's like getting in the back. Here's the door card. Hard plastic. Nice and soft, really soft. This is one of the softer, spongier, comfortable doors I've seen in the back in a while. Really big area for stuff here with the handle. This is, I mean, you could fit a hand and a half in here. This is big. And a little bottle holder area over here. Lots of storage down here. Almost past the watch. Storage is good. No reflector. All right, let's hop in. And that's, see, notice that I naturally went to grab here, but there was nothing here. So Toyota, something to consider, guys. Let's get a little handle over here like the Sienna. Okay. Now I can put my seat back a little bit more, so I'll grab the lever closest to my knee, slide it back a little bit. It's comfy. Naturally, I'd be the type to ask the person behind me if they're okay for me to recline a little bit. And now I'm good. Big windows. I feel very spacious. I definitely feel more comfortable than I did in the Highlander. Here we have about 10 inches. It's great. Now this would definitely be easier to put 3 people about my size here. You could put 2 adults that are 6'2", 6'4", easily. They'll just slide their seat back a little bit, and then you put the shorter people or the kids in the back. Simple. Doesn't sink down, which I like. It hovers. Durable, no adjustment arms, no plug-in rubber things. Keeping it simple. The buckles. It's very easy to do one hand. Toyota really masters seat belts. And these guys don't disappear to never come back. They can sink down, which is nice. You can kind of push stuff away. So if you don't feel well or somebody's not feeling so hot, they can lay down with a blanket or a pillow. Like this is literally like a couch back here, guys. This is nice. Now, one thing you'll see on the higher trims that I really like that I'm missing is the sunshade, which clips in here. That would have been nice. But remember, we're at the base level. And I think something that should be standard, Toyota, if you ever watch my videos, I would be so honored if Toyota saw one of my videos, would be to start incorporating these on the refresh, because my natural spot to grab to get in was here, and Tacoma has it, Sienna has it, other vehicles have it. Put a little handle here. I don't think it's going to hurt the visibility for the driver. Now down here we have those cells I was talking about. So these cells on the floor mat will trap the fluid so that it doesn't slosh around and get all over the carpet. And behind the console, we have a lot going on. So we have a USB here and a USB here for both, and a 12 volt. Some people would probably like to have an inverter to charge laptops and iPads and video game systems. So I think inverters should start to become a standard thing. That's my opinion. And here's the separate control so we can do our own airspeed. We can turn it off, put it back on, change the air direction, change the temp, or we can go into auto. Sorry for the lighting. There we go. So that's nice, and the driver can also control it from the front, which you'll see in just a couple minutes. So yeah, to summarize this row here in the middle, definitely comfy. The seats are comfortable after sitting for a few minutes. Speaking of seats, let's hop in the chair up here, see what it's like being the co-pilot of the Grand Highlander. Here we go. This is what it's like being the co-pilot of the 2025 Grand Highlander LE all-wheel drive. So onto the door card. Finally, we have a reflector. We'll probably see courtesy lights at the higher trims, but I like to start at the top. Very, very slightly soft here, so it's not exactly a hard. They're getting away with this not being a hard plastic. It's ever so slightly pushable, but I still rate this a hard plastic. Good try, Toyota. A little bit of a sparkly gray finish here, breaking up all the simple black. Nice to see it a base model. Very soft, spongy armrest on this door. Really nice. I think it's about the same as the back. Similar storage here with the handle integrated. A nice sandblasted silver sparkly handle, so that's easy to see in different lighting to get to. And about the same storage as we got in the back. Actually, maybe a smidgen less with a big old bottle holder. There's that beautiful red pearl paint shining through. For the passenger seat, there's just a recliner and a slider bar, so no height adjuster. Remember, this is an entry-level car. I do like the upholstery here, though. There's a lot of details here in the upholstery. I can tell these seats, you can just tell, these seats are going to last a long time. They're going to really do well taking a beating. Here's the up-close design. I think these seats are going to hold up very nicely over the years. All right, let's hop in. I'll put my seat back just a little bit so we can see a little bit better. So my first sensation in the Grand Highlander is always, this car is solid. I feel very encapsulated, almost like I'm in my own bubble. It doesn't feel as tinny and lightweight as the smaller cars. There's definitely substance here. You can see it's a very utilitarian, typical Toyota design. Lots of silver swishes and lines to break up all the black. Not a lot of chrome, not a lot of piano black. And like I said, the word I use for the Grand Highlander is thoughtful. Right there, perfect spot for a charger. Nice storage area. I recommend getting a little rubber mat so your stuff doesn't slide around. And the dashboard is not in my face. It's scalloped away, which really gives me a sensation of room. I just feel like I'm sitting in a relaxing room here, and they scallop away the door a little bit and really give us this nice cut away feeling, almost like I'm sitting in a pool, and I have this protective border around me in the background that's not trapping me because it's nice and far away, and everything's cut away, so I have this sensation of space, which I really like. And things are integrated really nicely here with the dash. You don't see that a lot in vehicles. Everything is integrated really nicely here. At least I like it. Hard plastic, soft. So this is going to be really nice for the acoustics. I love soft materials for the acoustics, so it's going to be a nice quiet ride. This is nice and soft too. We have a sliding door with tons of storage, little sliding shelf, and a little 12-volt charger over here with a little cap. Here's a little knick-knack storage area. Tons of buttons, so definitely check out the tutorial on this car because we're going to go over every button. So yeah, as a co-pilot, very comfortable. I feel very secure. Let's get into the driver's seat, talk about what's going on over here, and then take this thing on the road and see what it's like. All right, the moment you've been waiting for the whole video, right? Getting into the driver's seat of the 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander LE. And a quick honorable mention before we jump in. I love seeing the smart key system on all 4 doors. So you can lock and unlock it from all 4 doors, including the hatchback, which is just super convenient. And like I said, thoughtful. You know, this model proves that Toyota is thoughtful and they're listening to people. Same thing as the passenger side. Hard plastics here. Soft, nice and spongy and comfy. Auto up and down windows on all 4, which is standard on all of the TNGA frames, which Toyota's going TNGA on everything now. About the same storage here. And what TNGA means is Toyota New Global Architecture. So what does that mean to you? It means a better drive, a lower center of gravity, much more stability and confidence during emergency braking and turns, and superior crash performance. And here's that locking floor mat. On every Toyota, the floor mat locks so it doesn't slide under the brake pedal. Black font, which is going to age a lot nicer than the gray or white. And a standard electronic adjust for the driver's seat, but no lumbar support. That's another thing that I think we're going to see go standard over the years is lumbar support. But we have a forward, back, up, down, a little bit of a twist. You'll see the cushion adjusts. So you can customize a lot of stuff. There's the recliner. And also, to be expected, the adjustable seat belts. So I can slide those up or down. Let's hop in. Let's see what it's like starting it up. So being an old school Toyota guy, I naturally lean over and look, but we no longer have to do that, which is really thoughtful and appreciated because it's right here where we can see it. So with the push of a brake and a quick push of this, here's our startup. So no fancy graphics, just a very simple startup. We have an easy reader here, digital, looks like an 8-inch display, LCD readout with the tachometer and a digital speed. Some modern retro style for the fuel on the right and the coolant temperature on the left. Lots of little buttons for Toyota Safety Sense stuff, which will be in the tutorial. There are arrows on the steering wheel where you can go through the different menus here. So up and down, you'll see there's different menus you can go through. We're going to dive deep on that in the tutorial for this car, so definitely check out the link in the description below for all of that stuff. And don't judge the fuel economy on this car because it's been sitting and idling and driving a few hundred feet at a time. All the automatic cruise control stuff is in the front. There's no buttons in the back. Everything lights up at night, which is nice. Different drive modes. If you don't like the feature where the car turns off with the red lights, you can kill it, which is really nice. This shifter's been around for a while. I really like it because it fits the hand very nicely. Down to drive, or we can toggle through those 8 gears if you want to do revs and hold on to your RPMs. Once I put it in park, the automatic electronic parking brake applies on its own within a couple seconds, which is nice. So you can park it on the brakes and not the parking ball. More chargers. So there's chargers all over the place for people, so you can always be plugged in. This car, like all new Toyotas, does come with wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So when you connect to Bluetooth, it's going to be automatic. And I have a separate tutorial video on this screen, which will also be linked, where we dive deep. But the touch has been updated, so it responds very nicely. It's integrated very well, so it's not in your face. You know, at your my eye height is here, so it's integrated nicely into the dash. If you sit too low, obviously it's going to pop out, but no, when you're sitting at the right height, it's not distracting at all. No auto dimming rearview mirror, just a simple little flipper. Glasses case with a nice soft backing. A little bit of piano black, interesting. And this is kind of cool. It looks a little bit of luxury. If you push this, we get these two little LEDs, which kind of makes me feel like I'm in an airplane. Pretty neat. And with the way they're angled, they don't blind me from where I'm sitting. And then of course we have the SOS button, because Safety Connect comes with every Toyota. It's a recovery system for 10 years or until the 4G network goes away. So yeah, I like it. It's simple, spacious. The seating position is nice. The seating position on this car is going to be great for all heights, I can tell. And yeah, without making this long-winded, I think it's nice, especially for the price point. We're at 44 grand and change, MSRP'd. Let's take this thing for a spin and see what the powertrain is like. Now, the engine is warm, so I'll be able to get on it a little bit, but it is a new engine, so I just want to have respect for the new engine. I'm in normal mode. I'm going to give it about 2/3 throttle. And like I expected and have experienced before driving these, it has no issue getting up to speed. I've driven one of these cars with people in all 3 rows. It works. The low end power is there because of the turbo, it spools up. We don't have to scream a V6 to get the power that we need. The visibility is nice. And it is a very quiet car. I definitely feel disconnected from all the noise and the rumble and the grumble of the pavement that you feel on smaller cars like a Camry and a RAV. And being larger than the Highlander and almost the size of a Sienna, it drives small. It's very easy to drive. And it has electronic assist on the steering. So steering this thing is a cinch. Let's give it a little bit more. It's got no problem. And you have to remind yourself, for the tool that this is and for the job that it's designed to do, it doesn't need a massive power plant under the hood. This works. You have to remember what the goal here is. Of course, you can get performance 3-row SUVs. You can get luxury performance SUVs. That's not what this is. Let's carry a little bit of speed through this turn here. See how the TNGA frame holds up. No problem. Of course, it's just me, and the dynamic changes a little bit when you're loaded up with people, but it does better than you think it would during the turns, and that's how I want to coin your experience when you're in a TNGA frame, is it does better than you think it would during the turns. It's really nice. So let's get back to the store and talk about my concluding thoughts on the Grand Highlander. So there you have it, guys. We took a look at a really nice car today. We looked at the base model 2025 Grand Highlander. That's called the LE in the all-wheel drive variant. Gas model, not hybrid. Of course, hybrids are available. I think that this vehicle looks really good. I think it has a very bold front end without being try-hard, and you can definitely tell that its design is borrowed by Lexus. They must have approved of the design there. And I think if you're in that mid-40s market, low to mid-40s, before taxes of course, and you're tossed between a Highlander and a Grand Highlander, or maybe even something from a different brand that's a little bit smaller, it's definitely worth it to forgo a couple of the creature comforts to get the space. And I highly recommend that you sit in one of these before you make the judgment call, because when you sit in one of these and you drive it and you feel the turbo spool up and you see the badge that this car has, Toyota has that history of reliability, and you know, I know the turbo is a little controversial, but I think it's worth giving Toyota a shot. You know, if they, and they're not perfect, they have made mistakes in the past, but they fixed them, which is something that we're very proud of here at Toyota. So yeah, with the larger space in the third row, more space in all 3 rows, and definitely more cargo space, this is definitely the 3-row vehicle that you want to consider when you're in the market. It has a ton of safety tech. It's got really good crash safety reviews, and it's got the DNA built into it for safety and reliability, and it's just going to be that simple tool that gets the job done. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, because that will help you see more Toyota content if you enjoy my style of filming and you like to go a little deeper dive with me. And also by subscribing, it's going to help other people out there get promoted my videos that may enjoy the content. But with that said, I will see you down in the comments and in the next video. This is Brian signing out. Peace.